We'll get it right. There we go. Okay. Perfect.
All right, good morning. This is Suzanne with Supercharge Your Health, and I just want to remind everyone that to like our YouTube videos or like our podcast videos so that we can get more people following us and get things going so we can do more things for you. I'm going solo today. Beth had to run out to do a speaking engagement, and we're here with Bryan Mudge of
Green Gorilla.
Green Gorilla?
Yes, working the Green Gorilla, yes.
He has a couple of different things, so we wanted to make sure we got the right name for him. And we're going to talk about a couple of different things that you do today that we have here in our store in Port Charlotte at Discount Med Direct. And normally Beth Stockdale is here with us, and she's with Your Total Body Wellness, and I'm sure she'll be happy to watch this because she was definitely interested in learning about some of these things. So she'll catch up with you on the podcast.
Sure.
So
yes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into the CBD and what else we're going to talk about, and we'll go from there.
Sounds great. Well, first of all, thank you for allowing me to be here. This is my 74th lecture, or I should say appearance, right? In the state of Florida. And I take it very seriously because it's not about money. I mean, the CBD, as you know, the industry, it's the wild, wild west. Everybody just I shouldn't say everybody, that's a blanket statement, but the majority, they just see dollar signs. But I've been in the industry for 23 years, natural products industry. And the short story of that, excuse me, is when I was 5 years old, my mom was diagnosed with 4th-stage lymphoma. Of course, I was a child, so I just knew mom might not be there tomorrow. So the moral of that story is she ended up cured, I can say that word, she cured herself through natural therapies with a naturopathic doctor. It had nothing to do with CBD, but the point was that's where I entered in with some great companies as I grew up into the industry, Mega Food, Garden of Life, Gaia Herbs, so I was able to study with some of the best doctors. When CBD came along, I'm studying the endocannabinoid system since the late 90s, and so Green Gorilla happened to pop up, and I could talk about that when you are ready. I don't want to just go too far with your questions.
Okay, well, yeah, let's talk about Green Gorilla, and we've got some of the...
Sure.
Slide that over and just slide the whole thing over so we can reach it easier.
Yeah, not a problem. Okay.
And, this is just a part of... We don't have the full line here. This is just some of the products that we have. But you can talk about the other products that you have as well, because we do have access to get those.
Sure.
We just went through our hemp licensing thing.
Fun.
We got our permit. Came in the mail yesterday, so we actually have the permit here.
You're the first, right?
No,
Julie said,
up in Ellenton, they got theirs first.
But I mean, you were the first. Actually, you were the first retailer in the state of Florida. You as a group.
Yes. The Ellenton store. Our Ellenton store was the first one to get their permit. We had a couple products from Green Gorilla that didn't have the QR code on them yet, so we had to pull those off. So I actually have those down in the Cape Coral store because we're doing a bunch of sales and stuff down there to kind of sell through some of that stuff. But you can certainly tell us the other products that we don't have here. We'll show people the ones that we do have, and then we'll go on to the other supplements that we carry. Again, I only have a couple of them here, but I would have had all of them, but Julie was out, so I couldn't get them the other day when I was there. And then we'll talk about the Spoonk mats and the Spoonk ball. I love them.
It's a great product. It really is. Yeah. So
go ahead and start, and I'll
whenever. So again, I want to, before I talk about product, talk about purpose. And the purpose is, you can, first of all, supplements are supplements. They supplement what we're missing. So I don't ever talk about, hey, this is the magic bullet. But there is deficiencies. We are deficient, and I don't want to get off track, but this is a really big point. And I say this in a lot of my lectures because if I could, I ask people, I say, what do you think the most things that we're deficient in? And of course, there's some people that think they're geniuses and they raise their hand. Your fish oil, and that's true, or
calcium,
CBD, right? But what I say, it's hope. And when I was talking about my mom, when you can give hope to somebody that's in a severe situation, and you're talking about CBD and the endocannabinoid system, you're talking about, again, this is what. Now, let's talk about what the endocannabinoid system is for, not what products are for, right? So God, Mother Nature, I don't want to offend anybody, put this endocannabinoid system, the CB1 and CB2 receptors in our bodies. So that has to be filled with something, right? So it's our choice now that we know to either fill it with something foreign, and for years it's been, again, disclaimer, I'm not against pharmaceuticals, right? If I get hit by a car walking out of here, don't bring me to the naturopathic doctor.
Yeah, take me to the hospital,
right.
exactly. Well, and we like to say, and this is probably a good time, that we are not medical professionals. We do not diagnose or treat anything.
Exactly.
This is just recommendations based on experiences that we've had and products that we've used. So if you have a specific medical condition, you should definitely contact your doctor, and you should get their advice on taking any of these products before you try them.
Yeah, and I'm a big advocate of that. You know, with integrity. Integrity is a big word. You know, and that means that we definitely are not medical professionals. We're not trying to be, but you know, the great physician, if you were Mother Nature, God, again, not to offend anybody, but the hemp plant was put in the ground for a reason.
Yep.
And the cannabinoid system was put in our body for a reason. And back to that point is we're going to fill it. Our body is naturally going to fill it. A lot of people don't know that we produce CBD ourselves every single day. A lot of people think it's just a product.
Right.
So we're the most, remember I talked about deficiencies, right? If you look at any supplement in supplementation, we are the most deficient in CBD, and you probably know that. If you want to add, I'm like holding your
well,
microphone.
You kind of got to have the microphone to get the recording. Sure. I can fix some of it, but you know, it's easier if we get it good the first time. Yeah, I actually did some research on it because I was doing a speaking engagement, and they used to feed hemp products or hemp plants to the cattle and the pigs and the chickens and everything.
That's correct.
So our bodies back in the early 1900s or before used to have a lot more CBD in them from the meat that we ate, and now they don't feed them that, so now we don't get that naturally. You
know, that's a great point. By the way, this is not scripted, so that's what's beautiful about this. This is the first time we've ever met. I mean, I've been I've been dealing with your stores for a while.
Yeah, and I saw we did a Zoom call, so I've seen you.
So, oh boy, and you invited me, and it must have done it. But you bring up a good point. So we're talking about that deficiency. So what is CBD? Why is it so big? Is it just, you know, I ask the question a lot of times when I speak to large audiences, small audiences, and it is this just a fad? Because, you know, our industry is growing, right? It always has been. And it's not a fad. Why? Because our bodies create it on its own. Now, I always say this, and hopefully we can get into this in the podcast, is I'm against isolates, okay? But I sell an isolate CBD, and I'm going to tell you why. It sounds contradictory, right? But we'll talk about that in a minute. But the point is that what is this CBD thing? So I just said that if you don't talk about the product yet, our bodies need it. And you just said something important. We're deficient in it because, again, I have 3 rules, just so you know. I will never speak bad about a person on public TV or radio, right? But in general, but I'll never, and if it's my opinion, I'll say it's my opinion. If it's fact, I'll say it's a fact. And if it's a fact of a company or opinion of a company, I'll say that. So with that being said, I'm not against medical professionals, and I'm not going to diagnose, but listen to this. The point of it is that, you know, it's going to be filled, like I said, with something. So for years, the endocannabinoid system, if you look at the CB1 receptors that are in the brain and the central nervous system, they're responsible for, again, not what CBD is responsible for, but this endocannabinoid system is responsible for anxiety, depression. You know, list goes down. Now, if you fill those receptors with what? If you go to the doctors with anxiety, you get what? You get pharmaceuticals, and the pharmaceuticals.
Which again, we're not against pharmaceuticals because that's what we do here. That's the other part of my business is we sell discount medications. So we try to cover all the gamut.
It's within, and again, I respect that. We're in Discount Med Direct for a reason, because they both have their place. It's just in balance.
Right.
So that's where the endocannabinoid system comes in. Is it okay if I just, before we move on, touch on Green Gorilla points as to why we're different? Everybody says their CBD is different.
That's definitely what we want you to do. It is so that if somebody's looking for a product and they want a specific thing, or they're looking for something specific, they know whether to come here to get the Green Gorilla or one of the other products that we carry.
Yeah, and again, we're a firm advocate of, it's not us against another CBD company at all. Look, we have enough problems with the FDA and things like that because they don't understand it. And, you know, the law, the federal law, I'm not going to be political, but they don't understand it, right? I mean, not that they don't understand it. There's not really regulated. So, but the point of it is why are we different? Right? Why did I choose to work for Green Gorilla? I'm not an employee. I chose after 23 years to choose this company because there's 3 major things. One is we were the first and only USDA certified organic company, CBD company at the time in the world. We were the first. Now, if you think about USDA organic, you think about if you walk into Publix and get a salad, right? You know it's free of herbicides, pesticides. You're talking about CBD. Okay, a very controversial subject. So to have that USDA certified organic federal seal is a big deal, right? just because of the regulations that it has to pass through. That's one. Number two is because the simple fact is that we're vertically integrated. So we grow our own supply. And it's very important to know that, because a lot of these major companies, I said I work for Garden of Life and I work for a lot of these other companies, they're great companies. I take their products. It's just, are you controlling the source? And I'm not bashing at all. I think they're great companies, but that's why I chose these as the premium, because we grow our own. We have 1,510 brand new acres of USDA organic, and we own the largest amount of USDA organic land in the country. So that's the second reason. And the third one is that because we have the USDA seal, you have to know what's in the bottle, because it's a federal law that what's in the bottle is on the label. What's on the label is really going to be that way.
And that's why, that's why your products are one that we carry, because we want to be a leader in the industry too as it grows and develops. And so we very carefully select our products, and we mentioned it already that we got our hemp license, our hemp permit, which requires us to have our companies that we work with have those QR codes and the third-party testing. And that's what we tell people when we're educating them at an event or even here in our store, is that if you're not going to buy it from us, at least make sure the product you buy meets these minimum requirements.
Correct.
And those are minimum state requirements, because of course federally it's not all approved yet.
Sure.
So
can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
Why? So we both talk about that, but I'll use an example. Just like I said, I'd never. Hey, let me bash my own company. I own this company, but let's pretend this is a CBD. Okay, so I said I wouldn't. What's happening, folks, in the industry, and I'm glad the state of Florida came out with this law. Because what was happening, there's 2,100, or now there's probably 2,300 different CBD companies. Okay, that's a lot. There wasn't even 700 vitamin companies since I was born in 1975. But the point of it is what's happening is a lot of people come in and they see 1,000 milligrams, for example, of hemp/CBD. And they think that they're buying what? 1,000 milligrams of CBD, and that's not the case. A lot of times they're getting duped because hemp seed oil, the seed below the seed, right, has no CBD or traces up.
Yep.
So it could be 900 milligrams of hemp oil and only 100 milligrams of CBD, therefore not getting it. So the state of Florida has done us a favor. So consumers, scan those QR codes on anybody's product and make sure you know what you're getting.
Yeah, and that's like I said, that's why we work with the companies that we work with, because those are the companies that are on board with this and that are making sure their products are tested and that make sure they're giving us good quality products, even if some of them have to be pulled temporarily because I think the Green Gorilla dog treats are on hold for a little bit.
Well, that has to do with, I can explain that one. Yeah, that's not a QR code. Yeah, no, it's valid. No, it's a valid question. So why are the dog treats on hold? The dog treats are on hold because the FDA has human guidelines. So there was no guidelines for a supplement for animals. Really, that's the case. So you can't call them chews because that's children, there's terminology. So we had to change the packaging because we had to call them bites or something like that. So that was the reason why. And also too, sometimes there's degradation or if you think about it, we're grass-fed lamb, right? So if that's in heat or if that's over time, the potency, we want to make sure that's, again, we say what's in the bottle. That's the only reason why. There's nothing wrong with the product.
Right, yeah, but that's the point, is that you guys have good products. You just are making sure that you're in line with all of the qualifications that need to be in line so that we can be in line with all of our qualifications.
Partnership.
So, yeah, and that's why we're working with companies like you guys that make sure that they're on the ball with all of their products and have everything in line how they're supposed to be, because otherwise we can't do what we want to do and get them to the consumers.
Right.
So I think we've covered a lot of that good basic stuff. But
isolate versus, because that's a big thing, because that comes up. Can we do that?
And definitely. We've talked a little bit about that in one of our previous podcasts, but it's always good to refresh people because some people might not have seen that one. So definitely talk about the difference between full spectrum, broad spectrum, isolate, because we're here to educate people and help them get healthy. Yeah,
and this is a favorite subject of mine because I come from the whole food background. I don't believe in isolates, period. You know why? Because an isolate denotes that it's missing something, right? And an example would be the limeys, right? You know the limeys, they're called the limeys, the British sailors that were dying of scurvy. I learned that from the Megafood days when I was working with Megafood. And what happened really quick in summary is the limeys, they were cured with a quarter of a lime. They were dying from scurvy, the British sailors. And so a man by the name of James Lind in the 1800s cured scurvy with a quarter of a lime. In the 1920s, fast forwarding, a man by the name of Albert St. George came in and took up his work, and this is where Big Pharma started, which is okay. But they took ascorbic acid, he took it out and said, you need to do the research on this. Well, when he gave ascorbic acid to the British sailors, they died. That was because it needed the whole food. So again, I'm not against isolates, but there's only a certain amount of times, and that's why I almost said no to Green Gorilla because of that. So, because one of the founding members of this was from New Chapter, one of my competitors when I was at Guard of Life, right? But here's the point. The point is it's the isolate actually is its own entity. So it actually is a vehicle. For instance, if I'm in your car or you're in my car, and I stop at a stoplight, and you get out of the car, and I can't move unless you're in that passenger seat, that's the isolate story. It needs you're a cofactor. I'm a cofactor. I need a cofactor. This is its own vehicle. I know it's kind of confusing, but the point of it is it's alive. It has its own frequency, and here's the biggest point. It has a home, right? Your CB1 and your CB2 receptor sites. I don't see echinacea receptors on that slide. I don't see rosemary. It doesn't mean they don't work, but you have to have the whole plant, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of where we were with that. That's the reason I wanted to bring that up.
Okay, so let's go back and talk about the difference between isolate, broad spectrum, and full spectrum, because just to refresh people if maybe they don't know.
Let me just pull this. No, what I'm going to do is just pull this up. So, so isolate would denote is we live in the great state of Florida. It's the pain capital of the world, right? So a lot of times I get frustrated because a lot of companies, and again, I'm not against them, they always say start small and go up. The problem with that is if you have fibromyalgia, and again, this is just everything I'm saying so that you feel secure, and I definitely record myself, and I'm able to say these things. I'm not diagnosing, but I'm just giving fact because the USDA is allowed, just as a disclaimer, us to say that. So the fibromyalgia, neuropathy, the state of Florida, because we have the retiree state, right? We have the pain capital of the world. So with that being said, you can't take a full or a broad enough CBD in order to take care of that pain immediately. So that's why with the isolate, you can go ahead and give a safe dose. Even WebMD has come out and said, 12, I don't agree with it, it's too high, 1,200 to 1,400 milligrams. I don't know why you'd want to take it. A horse would take that, really.
It's like a whole bottle.
But I say up to 200 milligrams, because what that does is, I said I did 74 lectures in the state of Florida in the past 7 months. Guess what? In every one of my lectures, there's at least 3 to 4 people that have neuropathy, fibromyalgia, and immediately I dose them according to the card of the USDA, and they get results. It's impossible, is the point, and I'll give it back to you. It's impossible for a mammal to get the right dose and for it to not work unless they're not telling you enough or it counteracts with the medication.
Yeah, and we don't recommend that our people start with huge doses, know, but I've heard people say, take 2 drops, take 1 drop, and I'm like, that's not going to be enough for most people. We recommend usually people start if they're like doing a 500 or 1,000 milligram bottle, like a quarter of a drop or a half a dropper. And some people say take 2 drops for a week, and we're like, no, take a quarter of a dropper twice a day for a couple days, and then move up to a half a dropper. And then if that's not working after a day or 2, move up again. Because we want people to get the relief. And everybody kind of does have to find their own sweet spot.
Absolutely. So, that's why there's a range. And just to let you know, though, we're talking about just the isolate, just the pure here. So the broad and the full spectrum, I'd never say go high because you don't know if there's traces of THC. That's different. But with the pure, with Green Gorilla, I can say this. I can't talk about anything else about that. I'm talking about Green Gorilla because the USDA has allowed us to do that. We have a chart that they created for specific categories. For instance, pain. For instance, anxiety. Things like that. So up to 200 milligrams. I said up to. Yeah, it's on here.
Let's put it up so people can see.
Yeah, and I was going to do this for a reason. So you talked about a dropper top. We don't use a dropper top. So here's the reason why. It's not that a dropper top's bad. It's just that we use a metered dose. It's an airless pump. There's no oxidation. And you can get the actual milligrams per pump. And at the same time, sometimes, if you have a dropper and somebody's really careless, they can waste it or whatever. But that's why I like Green Gorilla. And they also are in 60 mLs. Most are in 30. So the quality and the value's there.
Yep.
But we're not the only guys. I don't just talk about one. I'm not just talking about this. I promote health. So look, you can have a Mercedes-Benz, a Jaguar, a BMW all in the same lot. It's okay. The point is let's have quality, and that's what you folks do here at your stores, and that's why we support you as a partner.
Talk about the different levels and stuff that you have
You're
within
talking
Green
about
Gorilla.
the milligrams?
Or the different types that you have
Sure.
within, so people know we only have one here with us today.
Sure.
But talk about the different levels
Sure.
and stuff that people can get within Green Gorilla,
Right,
because
so
we can get them all.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful thing because it's a cost per saving. So, for instance, you're holding here the 600 milligrams. So the 600 milligram is only 4 milligrams per pump. So this would be good for someone with anxiety or mild pain. It's really cost per savings. We have a 3,000 milligram, and if somebody's got severe, that's kind of the higher end of it, right? So somebody that has severe pain and needs to take 120 milligrams, it's cost savings because they just have to take 4 pumps a day. Right? So they can still use the 1,500, but then they got to take 8. So you're saving money by using the system that way. And they don't pass along, because we grow our own stuff. The point is that we don't have to pass along the price because we do control the.
Well, and that's what we always start people with, a lower dose, and say work up and figure out how many milligrams you need, and then come back to us and say, okay, I'm taking 120 milligrams, or I'm taking 50 milligrams at a time. What is the most cost efficient for me?
Correct, because you don't want to waste your money. I always say, we're talking about Mercedes-Benz, if you're at the gas pump, right, and you're talking to your friend holding the gas tank, if you're overflowing that, then you're just wasting your money. Now I want to talk about toxicity, if it's okay, because that's a big issue, because it's being raised, and this is everything that I say, don't be scared, is scientifically proven, and it's okay to say because it came out from WebMD. And it said, in Forbes magazine came out and said that FDA warning, CBD causes liver damage. Well, guess what? It does. At the amount that they were giving. So
I think they were giving mice like
42, equivalent to a 150-pound human, 42,800 milligrams a day. It would cost you $4 million a year, literally, of Green Gorilla products to take that.
Yeah, so, how would you even take that much in a day?
Exactly. Well, I liken it as, if I drink 12 cases of carrot juice right now, I'm gonna have liver toxicity later, and I'm gonna die, or maybe die. So, but I'm not gonna do that, right? So it's all within realm. So the point of it is it's safe up to the certain amounts. You're never gonna get with the isolate, as long as it's extracted correctly and organic, you're never gonna get too much. You're just gonna waste your money, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah, and we've said a couple of times, or I've said a couple of times, I know that we want people to experiment and figure out, because I saw at a conference that I was at, there's kind of a bell chart for, there's a point where you get the relief and then it starts to go back down. So you want to find that peak where you're getting the results before they start to not be effective again.
And that's where the isolate stops. Because again, I'm only talking about isolate not as the only one here, but because we live in Florida and they need that immediate relief sometimes. The broad and the full spectrum, I said God, Mother Nature, whoever put that plant in there, again, not to offend anyone, that's why I say it like that, but the other cannabinoids work synergistically. They call it the entourage effect. And that's why after someone gets their immediate relief, like you said, that bell curve, that's when I add in and tell people to start using the broad or the full with the isolate, and then you can just move right back into the isolate or the broad or the full.
Yeah, let's talk about to kind of clarify the broad. Sure. The isolate is just the CBD isolate.
Just CBD.
And then the broad spectrum adds in all the other cannabinoids.
Yeah.
The CBG,
broad without THC.
CBA, CBD, CBN, CBG, CBC, all those kinds of things. And then the full spectrum adds in the little tiny bit of THC, because as a non-medical marijuana, which is terminology from the state, that's not really, accurate terminology necessarily, but the terminology of the state makes it medical marijuana if it goes over the 0.3% of THC, which is the psychoactive component, which a lot of our people aren't looking for that,
Right. Well, it's kind of in context. I definitely don't, I don't partake in that. I never have, because I have anxiety and it would have made it worse. But the point of it is that in modern, you think about white willow bark, or you think about, opiates, it was the poppy plant. It's put there for a reason, and that's because it helps with pain. But that's not in excess, or we just know it as something that's illegal. But obviously, if you talked about our forefathers, if you look at our ancestors, even some of the presidents of the United States used to consume hemp on a daily basis, and that would lead right into functional products. Hemp, as in industrial clothing or whatever, wears in, it doesn't wear out. Right. So you're starting to see that pop up now in the industry.
Yeah, that was part of, I did a whole presentation for the Lifelong Learning Center here in town, and that was part of my presentation, was all the presidents who have, had hemp in their history. Of course, some of them we can't verify for sure that they actually took it internally, but they grew it, or they, there was notes in their records of stuff of them having, partaked in smoking it. Now, a lot of the stuff I read said that it maybe wasn't as strong as what we get nowadays as far as on the THC level. Just because of how they were growing it and where they were growing it and things like that. But that's an interesting part of the history of it, that hemp's been around and can be used to make a lot of different things.
You know what's interesting about the point? Oops, sorry. The point you it's warm in here. I'm sorry. So it's interesting about the point you make is that is we lost our source of hemp. Okay, so when the government, again, this isn't a slam, it just happened. It looks the same, right? So it could have been an honest mistake when they lumped the marijuana plant and the hemp plant together and put it as one called illegal. We lost our source of CBD that our body needs. So because of that, there's in different foods there, like chocolate, for instance. Has 3 milligrams. Now, don't go out and eat a bunch of chocolate because you could get diabetes, right? Because of the amount of CBD you need. But the point of it is that when they took that away from us, that's when we became deficient in CBD, and that's why it works so well. Is because we've been so deficient in it as a country.
Even hops has CBD in it because that's part of the same family of flowers. So
even orange peels, orange rinds. I mean, there's so many foods that do.
All right, so let's talk about the gummies. Let's talk about the gummies for a minute. And
sure. So gummies are, at first, I was very concerned about this.
Yeah, hold them up there.
So I'm sorry. So I apologize. So the first people, right, that go to this are what? Children. So if there's too much THC, this is not in our product, but if there's THC in a product, that could be a dangerous thing. So the wonderful thing I like about Green Gorilla is a bunch of things, and I'll just name it: THC-free, non-GMO, vegan, kosher, gelatin-free, gluten-free, nut and soy-free, cruelty-free, only 2 milligrams maximum of cane sugar, and 3 milligrams of carbohydrates, but 5 milligrams of CBD. Now I thought, it's going to taste like the side of a tree. That can't be good. These things are amazing.
Some of the gummies do taste pretty.
I can't keep them because I'll eat the whole bottle. Literally, I love them. I'm holding them and I feel it. But the point of this is not for an extreme case. This is a good take to work. Give kids, and I can say this, don't get scared, but ADD, ADHD is just a misfire between the brain and the nervous system. So I'm not diagnosing, I'm saying that when you put CBD into that situation, it actually has been shown to improve, and that's not a claim. And trust me, the things that I'm saying, 74 lectures, the FDA has watched every one of mine, so it's okay to say that because of Green Gorilla's USDA.
Well, yeah, and that's we do sell quite a few of the Green Gorilla gummies. That's probably one of our better products that we sell of yours.
And we sampled these too here so we can announce that when they're coming to sample.
We definitely give people samples of these, and but that was one of the things. One of our employees is involved with the Challenger baseball kids, and of course, a lot of those are ADHD and ADD as well as autism, and she was excited when she saw these because of all of the things that it doesn't have, because a lot of those kids have allergies and things like that. So she was very excited to introduce that to that group of kids that she works with. But and you're right, they taste really good.
And because it doesn't have gelatin, it can be a sublingual. If you chew it long enough, the body recognizes that as food, and it doesn't have to look at the gelatin to break it down. So.
Well, and you said you could eat the whole bottle at 5 milligrams. My problem with some of the gummies is that they are 25 milligrams and not, I don't need 25 milligrams because I don't have a lot of issues. So when I want CBD, I'm taking it for anxiety, or I'm taking it to just relax a little bit, or a lot of times before I do an event or something.
Sure.
So I don't need 25 milligrams. And a lot of people don't need 25 milligrams. So.
Wow, I'm sweating. I'm sorry. It's warm in here. Sorry, folks.
We just turned the air down before you got here. But so I like the fact that it's 5 milligrams because then if I want 10 milligrams, I can take 10 milligrams. I don't have to try cut a little gummy or a gummy worm in half. Do you want to talk about the lip balm? For a second?
Sure, the topicals. I'm sorry that I'm sweating, but the topicals, this is amazing. If you look at hemp itself, hemp is the plant itself is an actual detoxifier of the soil. This thing. It looks like a speaker. That's the reason why. So I was saying that the hemp plant actually is a detoxifier of the soil, of heavy metals. That's why you have to be careful with the product internally. But if you think about that on external on the skin, it automatically likes to repair. It automatically likes to pull out, and it does it in a way. For instance, I have a razor burn sometimes, and I could take that and put it right. And we're coming out actually with a whole line of anti-aging, and it does really work for anti-aging because you're fulfilling the the pores with the right nutrients. Okay, so I'm against, again, I like to do some things. This right here is got in our balm. You don't have the balm?
We don't have the balm.
But the balm, I actually have one in my bag. If you want to hold
Sure.
this, I believe, unless I left it in the car. I think I do have it. Look at this. It is, I think it's here. And it is. So our balm, this is actually the 750. You probably haven't seen this one yet, but we have our 300 milligram balm, but that's the 750. The point of this is that it has beeswax. Now, I come from also organic skincare for many years, and I don't agree with beeswax in a product externally, unless, of course, there's the point, right? What it is with CBD is beeswax clogs the pores, and it holds the CBD on the surface of the skin, and that's what you want for pain relief, right? So when you have the beeswax, that's what it does. And it also has the 300 milligrams, has eucalyptus, lavender. Now this 750 is more of a healing balm, so it has calendula, arnica, so that one's more for healing. I gotta tell you, again, in my lectures, I can say anything I want, and it can be correct according to science, but when people use it and it works, that's when, the rubber meets the road, if you will.
Yep. All right, so I think we've talked about most of your stuff. This one's yours. I'll let you have that over there. Let's talk about the Spoonk product.
Sure, yeah.
We have these, and this is one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
I love this. I have one at home on my bed, and the nights that I don't lay on it, I regret it the next morning.
Yeah.
When we first got them in, everybody was a little bit kind of like, everybody was like, they took them home for one night, and they were like, I don't think.
Yeah.
And so I decided I was going to give it a good try. I was going to take it home and, lay on it for at least a week and decide. Well, I laid on it for a week, and now I didn't ever bring it back.
Sure.
So talk about what they do and how they work. And
so
I like to tell people they look like golf spikes, like the things on the bottom of your golf shoes. We were like, we can make those, and then I looked up golf spikes, and we can't make them for what you guys make them for.
So I ended up taking this line myself. Again, I was the national. Actually, I took this over globally as a company. I saw a need for it because I mentioned that my mom, when she was healing from her cancer, she did acupressure. So you might have heard of the term bed of nails, the Japanese ancient massage of shiatsu massage. So what is the first thing that we do when we see something like this? We want to use our fingers, right? Oh, it does poke. The problem is that we have more nerve endings in our fingers. So when people do this, it does hurt, but not where it is. So when we lay on this is the travel size, okay, if you mind holding this. So this is just the travel size, okay? So what happens is when you lay on this, okay, you think you don't have to have back pain for this, okay? What it does is these little spikes actually in our bodies, we have in our parasympathetic nervous system, there it is, which is gently stimulated, creates a chemical called oxytocin. I didn't say oxycontin, oxytocin.
Yep.
And so oxytocin actually goes through the bloodstream. Like when women give birth, natural childbirth, that's the chemical that actually helps stop the pain. So you can induce sleep with it and get rid of pain. And there's sleep. I mean, for sleep, this product, hands down, you're right. You can't. Once you start using it, you realize that you need it. If you have sleep problems.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily have a lot of sleep problems, but I wanted to be able to tell people about it. Yeah. And I carry all my stress in my neck and shoulders, which a lot of people do. And it just, I notice a difference when I lay on it just for half an hour. I mean, now I've gotten to the point that I've used it often enough that a lot of times I'll fall asleep and I'll sleep on it for a couple of hours before I notice it, and then I'm like, get up and I just kind of rip it out from underneath me and throw it on the floor. But yeah.
Couple things with that though. So first of all, we're wimps here in the United States. I gotta just say it. I am too. We have remote controls for everything, the fan, everything. So in Europe though, they're like, take your shirt off and lay on it. And I am not laying on that thing. So,
I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Do a light t-shirt on any exposed skin. It does prick a little bit. Here's the point. There's a difference between pain and uncomfortability. We're just spoiled. So a little bit of uncomfortability, if that's the right word, to start off with will soon go away. It's all about relaxing. Think about it. We're relaxing the nervous system. So just calm down, meditate. A lot of the yoga studios will use this at the end or even during some of their movements. And the point of this is, see, I have this rolled. Now this is great for tension headaches to lay on, right? You can put a washcloth, but light, not a thick one, a thin one, right? So the point is that this will also be used as a lumbar support for driving. There's a lot of different things because this rolls. This is the travel size, and I just want to show the full size. So this is the big guy here, and this one here is almost double the size, not quite. But this one here is what you want to lay on at night. You can bring it to the beach. It's got a nice bag. And here's the point of it, too. The product has to be, I believe in quantum physics, I'm not going to get into that whole thing, but the whole point is that the product has to be pure, because think about it. You have 55% organic hemp, this is the material, 55% organic hemp, 45% organic cotton. In the middle, it's the foam is it has the same seal as USDA certified organic would be for internal. It's a biocert. I'm trying to remember. That's right in front of me. Why don't I just look at
the
it?
package.
It's I can't. It's escaping my mind. Anyway, it's right here. It is global. So it's called the GT. Sorry, I'll get this. Global, so GOTS certified. So it's a global organic textile standard. So what that means is that this is 100% organic, except for the spikes that have to have a little bit of actually plastic in them that are biodegradable. So they're actually coming out with 100% hemp spike that'll wear out. The thing about this is you want to do this in combination with CBD, because the endocannabinoid system is touched by this, and you put these two things in combination, you don't have to take as much CBD, because don't forget, your body releases it.
Well, and I found that when I first started doing this, I noticed that kind of prickly feeling in the beginning, the first few days. But now, like as soon as I lay down on it, I don't even notice it.
Yes.
You just kind of think your body kind of adjusts to it, and
yes.
it
gets used to it.
Yeah, you feel it in the beginning, but then after a couple days, and I have done it. I've done it up like back in my hair when I have a headache or feeling that tension going up in the back of my neck. I have like laid on it and put it up there, or like you said, on the side of my head for a headache. Just
Yeah, and the other thing is,
and you don't have to do it for very long.
No, not at all. 15 minutes. I mean, that's even a long time for that. So, I mean, I wanted to just mention too. It was on Dr. Oz. Now, Dr. Oz. But here's the point about Dr. Oz. He can't put anything. He has to have a scientific board that approves it. It has to make sure that the claims are legitimate, right? So this was on Dr. Oz, and here's the thing about that is that when it was on Dr. Oz. That's how it kind of got its notoriety. But the big thing, again, like I was saying, is that it had to pass specific clinical trials, had to be proven. So plantar fasciitis, people that have plantar fasciitis can stand on that travel mat, even if put light socks on. It's been known to just almost take it away.
Well, and that leads us to your other little
spoonk ball.
Spoonk ball. I love this. So I have one of these at home too.
I
think it's open on the bottom.
Is it? Yeah, I didn't want to rip it open. I'll give you another one anyway. But see, this ball is a little spiky ball.
I think Beth wants that one, so she was playing with it before you got here.
There's a lot of cool different features of this. It just looks like a ball with spikes on it. But here's the interesting thing about it. There's a lot of different things you can do with it. I actually supposed to do this before I speak. You can actually do this and roll it around because it trains the left and the right side of the brain for speaking. I obviously need to do it a lot more.
That's why Beth was doing it, because she was going to a speaking engagement. Okay. So she read that on the back of the box while we were waiting for you, and she played with it, and so we'll see how she did.
And then the feet, if you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, definitely.
So the plantar fasciitis, you could just roll that on the bottom of your feet. It's easier. Some people use a golf ball. The problem with that is you don't get enough traction sometimes because of the ball. So that spike, and it's not expensive at all. And the other thing is it's very comforting. A lot of times you don't realize it. That also, even ADD, ADHD children and OCD. I need like 15 of those. Right? So the whole combination of this goes together. They're not the same company. It's just the same function. It's the same. If you're buying CBD, you would buy this.
Well, and this product doesn't have those. Like, it doesn't hurt. It's soft. It's like the spikes are flat.
Dogs like them, though. You got to be careful about your dog would eat them.
You know what? My dog does not care for it at all. I've had it on the bed and him on the bed, and I use it. I get like a.
I know what you mean, spur.
Well, I don't know. It's a
joint.
Yeah, joint thing from phone and typing, and I use it even on my thumb. Just roll it around the outside of my thumb like this, and it just helps feel better, and. I always end up, I have some plantar fasciitis in one foot, so I use it for that, and then I end up playing with it like this afterwards, just to, release your hands for the day, from typing and all that kind of stuff.
I got to tell you, this is one of the products that when I walked by it, if my mom hadn't used it, I would have just walked by and said, I'll never sell. I got to tell you, it's not about selling, it's about working. And here's the thing about this. Hemp, remember I said wears in, it doesn't wear out. This thing, when you buy it, as long as you don't lose it, it lasts 6 years.
Yeah.
Really, because it wears in. So, and then, did you want me to move on to the other?
Yeah, you can talk about the couple of other supplements that you guys have.
So this is actually my company here specifically, one of my companies, and I only create, again, products for deficiencies. Now, we know of Himalayan crystal salt for cooking, and we have it on our foods.
Well, and we have a salt room up in
And
our
you have a salt room.
store
You do.
It's not Himalayan salt, but it is salt.
It is,
it's amazing.
and I'll tell you a story about that after the show, which is a good story. Anyway, so the problem is that we don't get enough, and you don't want to take too much salt, obviously, sodium. But this product here is a great it helps for hydration, right? And it also for athletes, great for people on keto. The other thing with it is actually helps sleep. You know why? Because it has a complete amino acid profile. A lot of times people can't sleep because they're deficient in that. So I said to myself, there's a few products now out there. This was one of the first, and it was just because there was something myself and a few others. It reduces, a lot of different things. Right here, improves hydration. I said that, but then muscle cramping, amazing. It's like you have anybody that's dehydration, muscle cramping, blood sugar balances, adrenal and thyroid support. So you'd be surprised at just salt itself, but Himalayan pink crystal salt's good for that, and it's very cost effective.
And that's actually one that I don't have this one. I'm going to get some as soon as Julie gets some in. They gave me this bottle. Julie, it was a sample bottle that you guys had given them, and because of the diet, the life changes that Beth has me doing, they thought this might be good for me. So, but now my mom is diabetic, so maybe I need to share with her.
And again, it's cost effective to retail, and that's not a lot at all if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's in a veggie cap. So,
this one is one that I've used. This one I like.
Yeah. So the organic ashwagandha, just so you know, so I don't want to go too far into it, but this is actually a biodynamic herb. So biodynamic's different than organic. Not that there's a different process, but it's the same cleanliness. So ashwagandha itself, the way it's grown, this is organic and it's biodynamic. It actually, the mood, if you look at ashwagandha in the past year, it's just the notoriety of it because it works. And I don't know if you have any personal experiences with it. It's an adaptogenic herb. And you have a lot of people asking. Julie tells me all the time.
Well, yeah, this is actually why I was probably the person that
Thank you.
enticed Julie to get this in. When you gave her the sample, she sent the ashwagandha to me because I have used it in the past.
Okay.
I have some adrenal fatigue issues that in dealing with my dad, and in a group that I was on at Facebook, there was a lot of women talking about what to do for adrenal fatigue and how to treat it, and talking about adaptogens. And when I started looking into it, I was like, okay, I need to try some adaptogens. So I tried a few different ones and found that the ashwagandha worked best for me. And I've used, I used to go to the health food store and I'd buy whichever one was on sale that month. And when I tried this, I noticed an immediate difference between what I had taken in the past and this one. Now, I don't take it every day because I don't necessarily need it every day. But I was telling Beth this morning, I'm like, I've had kind of a busy period here. I think I need to take some. I need to.
A lot of times of stress too. Like right now I have a lot of stress, just personal stuff in the family. But the whole point of it is that at times we do need that, and you will see that relief in that immediately too.
Yeah, and this one I could say that I felt the immediate effects, where the other ones I would take them for 2 or 3 days before I would start to notice the difference. This one I could tell the same day when I took them.
And drink plenty of water.
Yeah, I drink. Beth's got me drinking a lot of water. We've talked about that on the show, that you need to drink half your body weight in water every day, and I think in ounces.
and if we could just close without a supplement, if it's okay, a lot of this too is and I struggle for it, so I don't want to be a hypocrite on this. But this is something that it's mindset. What we think is what we become, and what we become is really what we are. And I say this, the basis of that company right there, Real Life Nutrition, is that I say that our lives and our bodies are a direct reflection based upon the choices that we make on a daily basis. And it's true. If I choose not to do something today, it might not affect me tonight, but it's going to affect me 4 days from now. But if I do go to the gym today and tomorrow and the day after, I can expect that, or if I don't, right? So the point of it is again, our mindset. And I struggle sometimes with it. I have severe anxiety. I come from, my dad was ultra positive, Fortune 500. My mom was negative, and I was just like in the middle. And it's not about me. It's about what we think is what we become. And really, I say we can hit the reset button during the day at any time. I think we just we'll start a diet on Monday. Well, who said that's a rule? Or I'm having a bad day, so the rest is ruined. Well, no, you hit the reset button right now. And I'm not going to be a hypocrite because I'm trying really hard to keep doing it. So going through some stuff right now. But the point of it is that these work better with a positive mindset.
Yeah, and
Everything
that's definitely part of what Beth does with, you know, her brain health coaching and things like that, and working with the whole body as opposed to just pieces of it. And even she said that to me is, you know, I said I had adrenal fatigue. She said, you have symptoms of adrenal fatigue. What can we do to make that better as a whole and not just label ourselves with that? So I think that's a good place for us to stop, and we'll just
come back
say,
and,
and I think you've got new stuff coming out, and
sure,
we'll come back when we get some more stuff. And this is Supercharge Your Health. Again, I'm Suzanne with Discount Med Direct. You can contact me at 941-421-7155. I don't know Beth's phone number off the top of my head, so if you need her, just call me, or you can tag us in any of the videos. If you have something that you want us to investigate, look into, talk about, again, let us know. We love a tell us more section, and I'm going to let you, Bryan, give your information.
Sure, yeah. So my number is 941-932-0116, available up till, don't call me at midnight. If it's an emergency, call 911.
Just say call during normal business hours. We like to keep it to that.
Yeah. But also, too, you can, my email address, the easiest one is BDS. So Bryan, David, Sam at Outlook.com. So that's just easy to remember. But you can always call the store to get a hold of me as well.
And we do have his products, or most of them, and we can get whatever anybody has an interest in. We can definitely get those. You can contact Beth or I. Again, our email is info@healthsupercharge.com.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. And this is Health Supercharge Your Health. Have a great day.
Thank you.